traditional securities today, right? If you take away the distinction that they're tokenized.
If they have regulatory clarity, they understand the rules of the road, they understand...
Hey, Future Millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you again. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you are in this incredible world of ours. All right, let's dive straight into XRP today. I'm looking at the one-day chart right here, and we're sitting at $2.16. Now, I know what everyone's saying. They're calling this the crash of 2025, right? But here's the thing that I need you to understand. You're not getting liquidated unless you choose to sell your XRP. Listen to me carefully. If you do absolutely nothing and just hold through this storm, you will make it to the finish line. I'm seeing people everywhere saying their money's completely gone, that they're totally broke. But wait a minute. Did XRP suddenly go to zero? Because last time I checked, it didn't. The only way, and I mean the only way, you actually lost money is if you panic sold into this dip. Because guess what? This market is going to bounce back. We've literally been through this exact same scenario so many times during this cycle. And get this, people are actually saying it's game over for XRP in 2025. Some are even saying they'll come back next year to reinvest. Are you kidding me right now? Do you honestly, truly believe it's over for this cryptocurrency? Think about this for a second. We haven't even seen the ETFs go live yet. We're still waiting on the Clarity Act. We're still waiting to see exactly how ISO 20022 is going to impact XRP's price. Here's what's really happening right now. We're still stuck following Bitcoin's every move. But you know what I'm excited about? I cannot wait to see how XRP performs once we finally decouple from Bitcoin. Because let's be real here, Bitcoin isn't actually a store of value anymore. Anyone buying Bitcoin at these crazy high prices, what exactly are they expecting? Maybe a 2x return? And when is that even supposed to happen? Every single time this market looks like it's ready to explode, something always drags it right back down. And right now, everyone's pointing fingers at BlackRock and Binance. I'm going to dive deeper into that in just a moment, so stick with me. But first, let's talk about what happened earlier today. Bitcoin actually dipped below that massive 100K mark. And now I'm seeing people all over social media saying it's going to crash way lower. They're predicting we'll see 80K before Bitcoin even thinks about climbing back up to hit a new all-time high. But here's the million-dollar question. Is that actually going to happen? Honestly, nobody really knows. And I mean, nobody. Everyone's just throwing out their best guesses right now. Even all those chart experts and technical analysis gurus that we've been following throughout this entire cycle, they can't predict this market either. Think about it. Nobody could have predicted what we've seen happen so far because this market has been absolutely wild and unpredictable up to this point. We literally have no idea where we're headed from here. And that's just the reality of crypto. But you know what I do know for certain? We are sitting here waiting on some absolutely massive things to happen for XRP. And when I say massive, I mean game-changing events that could completely transform everything we know about this market. You know what's funny? Remember all those people who are screaming Bitcoin will never drop below 100K again? Yeah, those folks are pretty quiet right now, aren't they? And honestly, I totally get it, because I said the exact same thing about XRP. When XRP was cruising above $3 with all that incredible bullish momentum behind it, I was sitting here thinking, there's absolutely no way this cryptocurrency is going back below $3. I was so confident about it. But look where we are now. We're literally sitting on the edge, almost about to dip below $2. It's crazy how fast things can change in this market. Now I'm seeing people throwing around predictions that XRP could hit $1.50. Will we actually go that low? Your guess is as good as mine at this point. We really just don't know yet. But here's what's interesting, and this is where it gets exciting. Everybody who's calling for these lower prices is predicting the exact same thing will happen right after we hit those levels. They're all saying that's when we're going to see this absolutely massive parabolic move to the upside. So the big question is, are they right? Are we about to see XRP rocket to new heights after this dip? Let's see if these predictions actually play out. Look, I think it's way too early to start making bold predictions about what's going to happen next. But here's something really interesting that caught my attention. Nearly all the selling pressure we've seen on Bitcoin spot markets over the last 2 days, it's coming from Binance. Every other market is basically sitting there doing nothing, completely flat. That's pretty weird when you think about it, right? And that's exactly why I mentioned everyone's pointing fingers at Binance right now. But wait, there's more. BlackRock is also dumping Bitcoin and Ethereum at the same time. Now here's where it gets really ironic. Everyone was begging for institutions to enter this space. Remember how excited everyone got when BlackRock launched those Bitcoin ETFs? People were celebrating like it was the best thing ever. But now that BlackRock is selling off Bitcoin, suddenly they're the villain. They're the enemy of Bitcoin. It's like, seriously? What exactly did you think was going to happen? And here's the thing. It's not even really BlackRock making the decision to sell. It's their customers calling them up and saying, hey, I want out. Sell my shares in those ETFs. BlackRock is just doing what their clients are asking them to do. But beyond all of this Bitcoin and BlackRock drama, there are some other major moves happening that we need to talk about, especially when it comes to Trump.
I honestly think his kids are making an absolute fortune off this market right now. And can we talk about Eric Trump for a second? This guy has literally dumped on us again. I seriously don't understand who keeps listening to Eric Trump every single time he comes out and says, buy the dip. Because here's what happens. Right after he says that, the market absolutely crashes. We've seen this exact same pattern happen 3 different times now in crypto. But guess what? He's going to come out again and say, buy the dip, and people are still going to do it. Here's the reality. They all need exit liquidity. And I'm telling you right now, do not be their exit liquidity. This is exactly like what I always tell you about red days. Don't sell when everything's bleeding red. Because when you panic and sell, guess who's on the other side buying up your XRP? The whales. And very soon, institutions are going to be scooping up your XRP too. And when that happens, the price is going to skyrocket dramatically. But here's what so many people do wrong. They sell off thinking, okay, it's going to go even lower, so I'll just buy back in when it finally hits rock bottom. And then bam! The market bounces back and suddenly you're buying back in at a way higher price than where you sold. That's exactly why I always tell you, buy the dip with fresh money. Don't try to play this game where you sell XRP at one price thinking you'll buy back cheaper. It almost never works out the way you think it will. Now look, I'll be honest, some people do get lucky with this strategy. Some folks have made money and accumulated more XRP this way in the past. But right now, this market is just way too crazy and unpredictable to be playing those games. All right, breaking news just came in. The Democrats have now voted for the 14th time to keep the government shut down. Can you believe that? 14 times. Now, everyone keeps saying, oh, the government's definitely going to reopen by the end of this week. But honestly, I'm just not seeing it happen. My gut tells me this whole mess is going to drag out all the way until Thanksgiving. And look, I'm really hoping I'm wrong here because I think getting the government back open would bring some much-needed stability to the crypto space. Here's why this matters so much for us. We're literally waiting on the government to reopen so we can finally get those XRP ETFs moving. Plus, we need them back in session so the Clarity Act can actually get passed. These are huge catalysts we're all waiting for. Now, I keep seeing people in the comments saying they're going to pass the Clarity Act even with the government shutdown. But come on, let's be realistic here. I think pretty much everything we're waiting for depends on getting the government back up and running. When that finally happens, I believe it's going to bring a ton of stability back to the market. And you know what? That stability might be exactly what we need to get crypto absolutely flying once we're done with this current crash. So yeah, we're basically in a waiting game right now. But when things start moving again, they could move fast. Okay, I've been seeing something really weird all day and I have to ask. Are all these accounts being paid to say the exact same thing? Because I keep seeing comments like, sorry guys, the top is in and we're only going lower from here. And I want to apologize to everyone I told, the bull run was just getting started. I'm seeing this everywhere today, and honestly, I think these are either bot accounts or somebody's literally paying people to spread this negativity. Because let me tell you something, the top is not in. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. A lot of very wealthy people are making absolute bank right now, while also buying up massive amounts of crypto during this dip. And when they decide to let this market rip, anyone who sold is going to have some serious regrets. And all these people claiming they're completely liquidated? Come on, that's total nonsense. Think about it logically. The only way you're truly liquidated is if XRP goes to absolute zero. And I don't see XRP going to zero, do you? Here's what I know is going to happen. Once this rebound kicks in, and it will kick in, you will never hear anyone talking about this crash ever again. Everyone's going to be way too busy getting excited about what's happening next. The euphoria is going to be absolutely insane. We're going to see FOMO like you've never seen before. It's going to be incredible to witness in this space, and trust me, you want to be here when it happens. So please, don't let them shake you out now. We're so close to something amazing. All right, future millionaires, this is huge. BlackRock in the White House showing up at Ripple Swell 2025? This is absolutely sparking some serious XRP ETF speculation, and we could be looking at a potential massive breakout. Let me tell you why this is such a big deal. So there was article after article about the BlackRock ETFs, but every one of these articles shifted at the end of the article. And get this, they actually started talking about tokenization. Now this is what I've been waiting for, because tokenization is going to be the absolute next big thing in crypto. But here's where it gets even more exciting. They're also talking about BlackRock potentially bringing their tokenized assets directly to the XRP ledger. Can you imagine what that could mean for XRP's price? This is exactly the kind of institutional adoption we've been hoping for. Then you see this price could reach $100 to $500 as BlackRock's CEO teases tokenization of currencies and ETFs. Listen to me carefully. I'm telling you that all those Bitcoin ETFs are eventually going to become tokenized assets. This is going to be massive. And here's something really interesting. This insight actually came from Gemini. Sorry, I misspoke earlier when I said Grok. It was actually Gemini that brought this to light. But the point still stands. This is going to change everything. All right, let's talk predictions. And these numbers are going to blow your mind. So here's how this could play out. In the bullish case, we're looking at $6 trillion in tokenized assets, which would push XRP to around $100. That's already incredible, right? But in the ultra bullish scenario, we're talking $30 trillion in tokenized assets, and that could rocket XRP all the way to $500. And then there's the moonshot case, $60 trillion coming onto the XRP ledger, potentially driving XRP to $1,000 per token. Now, you're probably thinking, is that actually going to happen? Here's what I believe. It's going to be a combination of tokenization from multiple massive institutions all working together. Think about it. We already know BlackRock alone wants to bring $30 to $50 trillion to the XRP ledger. Now imagine combining that with what BlackRock is doing, plus Franklin Templeton bringing their assets to XRP, plus all these other major institutions doing the exact same thing. When you add all of that up, suddenly that $10,000 per XRP target doesn't seem so crazy anymore. And this is exactly why I always tell you, I don't rule anything out when it comes to this cryptocurrency. Because honestly, we really have no idea just how massive this thing is going to become. The potential here is absolutely mind-blowing. But here's the thing. The reason everyone suddenly shifted their perspective? It's all because of what BlackRock said right here. You've got to hear this for yourself. Take a listen to what they actually said.
Who owns traditional securities today, right? If you take away the distinction that they're tokenized, that market will come, but in the short term, we need to prove out the utility. And there's two sort of separate segments of users that I think are going to be the earliest adopters here, and we need that market momentum in order to prove the utility to actually get the larger players to eventually come in.
So they are really seeking regulatory clarity. If they have regulatory clarity, they understand the rules of the road, they understand that the rules are there with the investor protection as kind of the North Star, then they can work within those rules. And I think they're all expressing an enormous amount of interest in getting more engaged in the digital asset ecosystem. Obviously, they're doing a lot of work already to tokenize fixed income, tokenize bonds, create stable coins. I mean, you're seeing actually a lot of activity within the banks themselves to get engaged in the ecosystem. But I think to get them really engaged in the markets, there has to be regulatory clarity.
And what have I been telling you this entire time? It all starts with regulations. I've been saying this over and over again. Without proper regulations in place, you're not going to see all these major banks jumping into the crypto space. A ton of institutions are still sitting on the sidelines right now, just waiting and watching. Why? Because they need that regulatory clarity first. But here's where it gets exciting. Once we finally get those regulations sorted out, and all these institutions start flooding in, they're going to need something crucial. They're going to need credible, reliable rails for all these massive assets to run on. And guess what? They're going to need Ripple's rails all around the world. That's when we're really going to see some serious price appreciation for XRP. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, and it's getting closer every single day. The foundation is being built right in front of our eyes. But like I mentioned at the start of this video, XRP is sitting at these prices right now. And yeah, we're down about 60 cents from where we were just a week ago. Everyone was celebrating, saying, "We are so back." But here's the thing. XRP can make up 60 cents in literally a couple of minutes. That's just how insanely fast this cryptocurrency can move when it wants to. And I'm telling you right now, this market is going to bounce back. You know how I know? Because everybody's saying the same thing behind closed doors. They're all quietly loading up their bags in the background while everyone else is panicking. So expect a reversal very soon. Now, I'll be honest with you. We might drop even lower before we finally break out. You've got to mentally prepare yourself for that possibility too. But listen, my job here is to keep you positive and keep you motivated. I want to cross that finish line with all of you. That's what this channel has been about since day one. We're in this together. I absolutely cannot wait to get rich with each and every one of you. That life-changing money? It's still coming, I promise you that. It is not over for XRP in 2025. So until that moment arrives, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. All right, future millionaires, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. I can't wait to see you in the next one, and have an absolutely amazing night.